Hello and welcome back to the last episode of the Lean Talks for the season two. It's been a great journey, and I am really excited about the season two, and a little bit emotional about the season one's ending because it has been one of my major initiatives. It's been 5 to 6, about 5 months since we have started, and uh, saying that it's going to be the last episode, it's a little bit difficult, but yes. So yeah, let's get started anyways. So today we are going to discuss about the 16 ways on how can you calm yourself. So it's been a long journey, as I said. Let me tell you what all did we discuss in this huge journey of the lean talks that we had. In the first lean talks which I started, um, I discussed about the 5 learning techniques that can help you be a super learner. These techniques were the Pomodoro technique, the Feynman technique, the quick feedback mechanism, the fun and learn, and the train your brain technique. If you want to have a look at it, you can go to my playlist and select the first one, which is being a super learner. Then in the second week we discussed about how can you prioritize things and make yourself super productive. So basically this whole lean talk series was revolving around self-help tips, and a lot of people liked it. So it's really difficult for me to actually say a goodbye here because this is going to be the last episode for season one, and season two will probably come somewhere in between. I guess I'm planning it to be mid 2021, just when we started the season one, around June or July. So yes, in the second episode we actually had a lot of discussion about how can you prioritize things and make yourself super productive. I told you the how to prioritizing tasks. I told you the method of Eisenhower matrix, using which you can prioritize your tasks efficiently. For time management, I discussed with you the Pomodoro technique, and for the productivity, I discussed with you 5 amazing techniques which you should definitely check it out. And then in the third episode, we were talking about how can we be self motivated and kill procrastination, in which we discussed the types of motivation, we discussed the science of motivation, and the overrated advice, which is follow your passion. How I discussed how can following your passion prove out to be a very wrong choice. And then the fourth one, how can you like understanding and eliminating procrastination. I guess as far as I remember, I told you around 10 to 12 techniques on which you can kill procrastination, which you can use any one of those techniques to actually get rid of procrastination once and for all. So Aman just asked me that why can't you start the next session in January? So I really wanted to continue this whole series, but the thing is I have a lot more ideas for my YouTube channel and I need a little bit more time. So basically, yeah, exactly. That's why, Aman. So I am planning a few series, like one series is going to be on React, which I'm going to release somewhere in let's say Feb end. I'm planning it to be Feb end, but it can get extended to March, which is going to give you practical knowledge on React JS, which is going to give you everything that you need to know about React JS, which can get you started and make you a from and take you from beginner level to advanced level. So that's why I'm actually pausing this initiative for a little bit, and so that I can spend more time on the other things, on other ideas. And again, as you might have already seen, that I have already started one more initiative, which is being better. Let me show my YouTube channel. In my YouTube channel, you can go to playlists and then see being better. So in this thing, basically, you can find out all the videos. I'm going to release one video every week, so it's going to be super exciting. So yes, and then in the episode fourth, coming back to the slides, in the episode fourth we discussed how can you be a top blogger. I invited Sinem, who is an amazing writer who has been 17 times top blogger on Medium, and I invited her so that she can share her views as well on being a top blogger and how can you make blogging your career. I discussed my journey from a non-blogger to a top blogger within a year. And then I told you the five reasons in which you should reasons why you should get started with writing right now. And then I told you five steps to write a successful blog, and five unspoken rules of top bloggers which no one talks about but they actually follow, and then five things without which you probably fail. Then in the fifth episode I talked about every social media platform, not every but most of the social media platforms, and how can you build your own signature traffic builder. We discussed what is a personal brand. We discussed why you should invest in your own personal brand, what all things can it get you. Like on, I discussed what all things that I got from my personal brand. And then four steps to find your target audience. And then I discussed about different forms of content. There were two forms of content majorly, the long form and the short form. The long form of content includes all these blogs, articles, newsletters, and all these things. And the shorter forms contains generally tweets, gifs, memes, and so on. And then I compared various social media platforms, the demographics and the statistics of various social media platforms, so that you can get to know where does your target audience actually exists, and you can find them and you can reach them to spread out, to roll out your own content. And then I helped you build, find and build your own signature traffic builder. And then in the sixth episode, I helped you build a rock solid resume. It was a long one. I discussed so many things in that. I remember it went up to 1.5 to 2 hours. Don't worry, this last episode is not going to be that long. It will probably get over within 45 to 50 or maybe 1 hour. And I really want to have an open discussion with you all today. Like, you can ask me anything that you want in the chat section, and I am majorly going to focus on the chat section rather than the slides today. So yes, anyways, coming back to it, and I basically in that rock solid resumes webinar, we discussed so many things like the three unspoken rules of a good resume, whether we should use a template or not, how can we optimize our resume for ATS, which is applicant tracking system, what resume format should we follow, an overview of the overall format. And then we also dig deep into the format, why should this section come first, why should this section come at the end, and so on. And then resume making tips and the questions in your mind. So yes, the seventh episode was on getting started with Git, GitHub, and open source. That was one of my favorite because open source has been a part of my journey. So yeah, why you should contribute to open source, introduction to Git and GitHub, how can you find open source projects, and I also walked you through step by step on making your own first open source contribution. And then we discussed a little bit about these challenges and events which happen, which take place every year related to open source, like GSOC, like Hacktoberfest, and so on. In the eighth episode, I told you how can you make the most out of your college life. What did we discuss? We discussed these five things that you should do in your college life, things that you should avoid, resources for students in tech, opportunities for students in tech, and a lot of discussion. In the ninth episode, we discussed about goal setting and deep working in the shallow era. We discussed, that was a long discussion. Even that one went to, I think, around 1.5 hours. We discussed the two things, hard work versus smart work. We also discussed why multitasking can be a bad thing for you, and goal setting, how can you set your own goals. And the best thing, why this, always remember this quote, that don't prioritize what's on your schedule, schedule your priorities. Secret ingredient for the long-term stability, deep work versus shallow work, and all those things. And then the 10th one was one of my favorite, the live LinkedIn profile review, in which I told you everything I know about LinkedIn. Not everything, but yeah, most of the things that can help you get started and create your own brand on LinkedIn. And then the 11th one, which was the previous episode of the Lean Talks on the habits and traits of the successful people, where I discussed the 20 qualities of high achievers that I know. So it was amazing. And today we are going to discuss the 16 ways on how can you calm yourself in the midst of chaos, anxiety, fear, and confusion. Why this topic? Because you know this year has been a crazy year. This particular year 2020, we all are going to dread this year in the upcoming years. This has been something very weird. We were not sure of what is going to happen the next day. We were not sure how will this pandemic, how is this going to, where is the future going, and all those things. We did not know anything, and there was a situation of chaos. Everyone was under fear. There was a situation of confusion and doubtfulness and so on. How can, and today I'm going to tell you, in these type of situations, how can you remain calm? Because once we lose calm, everything is over. So before starting, let's see every question that people have today. Cool. So let's start with Kushal's question. So the first one is, hey bro, I am a student of a tier 3 college, placed in three service based companies, but not even able to crack one single product based company off campus. So I have two choices. All right. Um, the first one is to cancel the internship at the same company and try for more companies. And the second one is to stick with this for 2 years and try after that. See, Kushal, the thing is, I would suggest the time which is going on right now, since even if it's a service-based company, you might have got the role of SDE, right? So even if it's a service-based company, I would just suggest, it's just my opinion that given this time, the my choice would have been different if it would have been some other time. But given this time where there's a global pandemic going on and everything, there's a big confusion. So I would suggest sticking to the things that you have instead of canceling, and side by side improving your skills a lot. So the thing is, with service based companies, mostly you are going to have fixed working hours, apart from which they are not going to expect you to do more or do something like that. So let's say 9 to 5, let's say it is 9 to 5. So after that period of 9 to 5, within 1 year, you can probably spend the other time that you have in solving problems on CodeChef, in probably doing problems on HackerRank and all those things. And trust me, if you build a lot of skills, 6 months to 1 year is a good amount of time to switch. And that way, a lot of people switch. So this is my recommendation for you, Kushal, that instead of giving up, like, the final choice is of course yours, but my opinion would be, instead of giving up right now, because as I told, that there's a lot of confusion and there's a lot of uncertainty going on. So instead of canceling, you can actually do one thing. Like, apart from your working hours, you can improve your skills. The first thing is improve your skills in DSA and competitive programming, and the second thing is keep networking with people. Try to increase your connections on LinkedIn. Connect with people who are working in your dream companies, in your dream product based companies. Try to network with them, try to connect with them on LinkedIn, and try to ask them what sort of work they are doing, what all things they do, how does their job look like on a day to day basis, and try to learn all those things. And that way, like, with if you do that, if you aim to connect with, let's say, five or maybe two people every week, at the end of 6 months, at least you are going to be connection, in the sense, like, the real connection, not just the inactive connection, the real connection where you are actually interacting with them. And at the end of 6 months, you would be at least connected to 50 people whom you properly know. And then try to get some referrals from them, try to ask for referral, and not as a favor, but show them your skills, show them the projects that you might have made on GitHub, show them how good you are with competitive programming. And that is actually my advice, to do two things. First of all, in your off working hours, try to improve your skills in competitive programming and DSA, and even in development. 6 months is actually enough to plan something. So you can plan something from the 1st January itself. Spend a lot of time. Tomorrow is a holiday, tomorrow is Sunday, so spend some time in thinking, making a plan for yourself. Let me show you what I do. So I maintain a notebook where I write down what all things I'm going to do in the upcoming 6 months. So always have a plan for upcoming 6 months. So this was the first thing. And second thing, try to network with the people who are working in your dream companies. So yeah, that was my advice for you. Cool. So let's see what Bahirithi is asking. So, is being a 9 pointer compulsory in any college to get into FANG? So, I would not say that because, like, it depends. Sometimes it might be, sometimes it might not. But the most of the time, I believe like it's my, like at least for my college. I'm not sure about other colleges. And I think it's even 8 plus is accepted, sometimes even 7.5 plus is accepted. The thing is, it depends, it varies from year to year, so that like how many candidates are sitting, how many candidates do they have to filter based on the criteria of let's say CGPA and so on. So I would say, Bhairiti, that it's a high probably like highly it's highly probably that it is not going to be a compulsive category, that you compulsion that you have to be 9 pointer or above. Like there's a high probability, but there are still some chances that they might do this. So yes, but 99% they won't. Cool. So let's see what Aman is saying today. Why sometimes success feels as a growth stopper? How to engrave yourself to do more after each success? That's an amazing question, Aman. Like I always used to say these things. So we used to have clubs and chapters in our colleges. So you might have heard about these things like clubs and chapters, various technical societies, and so on. And the thing is, with for every second year student, the aim is to get into the organizing committee or the board member and all those leadership category of that particular leadership team of that particular club or chapter. So I always used to say to my seniors that a lot of people, you might have noticed, are working their asses off just to get into that particular organizing committee or the leadership team or the board position. But what is going to happen after they achieve it? So the thing is, whenever we have some goal, we work our ass off to get onto that goal. But what after it? It's going to be super weird, right? Like you are going to experience a full stop. What after this? You have achieved it, and what after that? And it's a probability that you might stop working after it. To prevent that, something which I personally recommend, I always believe that no matter what stage of life you are in, no matter where do you reach, there will always be people who are bigger and better than you. So I believe that life is like a mountain, but the thing with the major difference between the real mountain and the life is that mountain has like you can climb to the top of mountain. There's not going to be more than one summit, right? Or there might be, I'm not a mountain climber, but yeah, there's going to be probably one summit of the mountain, which is the top of the mountain. But the thing with life is that no matter how much you climb, once you reach the summit of one mountain, there is always going to be another mountain standing in front of you, which you can start climbing from that point onwards. So I believe in this particular thing, that always have an ambition in life and try to have small time goals. I repeat myself, a, a long term ambition and some small terms goals. And that ambition can actually vary. Maybe after 1 or 2 years, while you are slowly working towards it, maybe you might feel that my interests have changed. So always be open to change. Don't be rigid. I always believe that rigidity, like rigid dreams and rigid behavior, often results in brittle products. You must have heard about this, right? Like in chemistry, like all those rigid the substances which have sort of rigidity, they are always sometimes brittle. So you must know about brittle, like they might crack or they might fall apart. So the thing is, you don't have to form your career or your whole life on something brittle, right? So you have to find a great substance. How can you do that? By first of all having an ambition, a long term ambition, and secondly being open to change, and third thing, have a small term goals according to your long term ambitions. Let's take my own example. For example, my long term ambition is that this might feel something really impossible, and you might even laugh at this, but my long term ambition is that no one in this whole world should be afraid of coding, and everyone in this whole particular universe should know at least one coding language. That's a huge goal to see. That's a huge dream to see. But the thing is, uh, I know that it might be impossible to achieve, but I really try to plan my short term goals. For example, the coding videos which I'm going to release slowly, the webinars which I take, the uh, the guest speaking sessions which I give in colleges, in various colleges, they all align to my one major ambition. So yes, don't see your goal as an ambition. So let's say getting an internship at a product based company, let's say getting into that particular company, doing that particular job, getting at that particular position, being into the leadership committee, or anything like that. These all things are a stationary position. These are not ambitions. There can always be a bigger ambition. Have a bigger ambition, so that even when you reach those particular goals, you don't feel stuck. So yes, I guess I got a little bit emotional on that question, because the thing is, we all see face situation like this. Once we have achieved that particular thing, what after that? So always have one more mountain to climb after you climb a mountain. So yeah, I think I was able to help. So Ishant just said that, bro, please try creating a Discord server for coders. I really want to, Ishant, but I think that right now, at least right now, the things which I am planning, I am not going to get time to actually manage a Discord server. I really want to, but I think let's keep it for 2021 end or somewhere like that. Because if like I'll tell you, I'm planning a lot of things for my YouTube channel, for LinkedIn, for a blog list of blogs for my medium, and so on. So if I try to do everything, we all know, if we try to do everything, we are going to end up doing nothing. So yes, maybe I can plan a Discord server for 2021 end or 2022 starting. So yeah, do remain subscribed to my channel and keep following me till then, and it's going to be a good one. Cool. And what's Kushal just asked me, what's your point on MS USA for SD role at Fang? MS or just a good amount of practice on DSA will be good enough. Uh, Let me see. So it varies actually. So if you are I would say I am not having a lot of knowledge in MS, because I haven't done MS, so I might not be the best person to answer this. But yes, if you are getting a good college, of course you are going to get a good placement. So the thing is, I believe, like, if you aim to do further studies, again it depends on many factors, like your financial background, your how much time do you have to spend, you have free time do you have to spend on your studies, and all those things. So yes, it's a good question that if masters, then just after the fourth year or after taking 2 years experience at a company. It's a good question. It's just, so everyone have different opinion on this particular question, and everyone have their own answers. I believe for me it was probably like, I really don't want to actually jump into further studies just after my college, because I really wanted to get a taste of what and how the real industry looks like. So this is just my opinion. It might vary from yours, it might vary from other people, but it is my just sort of opinion that you should actually get a taste of what the industry looks like, what all roles are there, making enough connections, and then side by side, if you want to, like, not everyone wants to do masters. If you want to do masters, if you are planning to do masters, then probably after the fourth year of your college, slowly while working, you can explore a lot more things. You can explore what all colleges are good, what all streams do they offer, what all things do they have to offer, what all extracurricular activities do every college offer, and all these things, and how's the placement of that particular, of all those particular colleges, and then preparing for masters as well, right? So if you are in third year of your college, and then if you just plan to jump onto MS just after fourth year, I would say that that might be a little bit hasty, because you might not have enough time to actually explore your options. So this is just my opinion, that a person should get a taste of industry before going for further studies, and then of course after that you will actually even know that. So I believe 2 years is enough time to explore a lot more domains and explore a lot of things, even explore where your interest lies in. A lot of people actually work for 2 years in the industry in coding, and then they find out that coding is not their thing, and then they go on to do an MBA. So I think you should, but then again, it's just your choice at the end of the day. So again, doing an MS again is not going to confirm your placement at some product based company, but still it might increase your chances, so it's a good thing. But you have to see all those category, all those criterias. First one, your financial background. Secondly, how much preparation do you have? Thirdly, what all, like, how do you need time to explore more things? Are you sure you want to do MS, or are you sure you are ready for studying more just after 3 or 4 years of studying instead of working? So all the, if you have all these things in mind, do ask yourself all these questions and then take a decision. Thanks a lot, Aman. I really like. Thank you if you you like that question answer. I really think that I went a lot deep into your question because it was something really, really close. One question which is really close to my heart. So I believe that I went a lot deep into it. I could have answered it a little faster, but yes, glad you like it. Cool. So let's, before going to further things, let me jump back to a little bit of our content for today. So let's do one thing. Let's quickly finish the topic for today, which is the 16 ways on how can you calm yourself in the midst of chaos, fear, anxiety, confusion, and doubtfulness and uncertainty. In these situations, how can you calm yourself? And then we will jump straight back to your questions. Cool. So the first one is, again, disconnect. So don't worry, this is just some small practicable tips, like doable tips, which you can start following from this point itself. And it will probably get over in 20 to 25 minutes, and then we will probably I'll probably jump on to your questions. So the first thing is disconnect. So this is the greatest tip, believe me. Like, what happens a lot of time, what happens is, sorry, whenever we are in a state of confusion, or whenever we are in a state of doubt or something similar, we, the first thing that we do is we jump onto Instagram, or maybe LinkedIn or Facebook or any other social media platform. And that's the worst thing we can do. On Instagram we see how happy other people are. On LinkedIn we see how this person got placed at this particular product based company, this person built this person did this person did that, and so on. So the thing is, we feel more of in a state of confusion, that what am I doing with life, what am I doing, I'm doing nothing, and all those things. These questions might cross your mind when you see all those people achieving so much and doing so much, being so much happy. But the thing is, life is not as much as comfortable and as happy as it seems on social media, right? Everyone have their own set of problems, everyone have their own things to deal with, and they don't generally show it on social media. So the best tip, probably the one of the best tip, is to disconnect. Just switch off your internet, or maybe switch off your phone and spend some time with yourself. The best thing which I do is I just pick up a book and start reading whenever I feel. So the thing with these type of emotions, like fear, anxiety, and all these things, is it does not let you concentrate on anything. And to deal with it, you tend to open social media and try to see what all others are doing, so that you can actually move your attention away from that particular topic to into something else. Probably you'll start seeing memes and all those things. But as I told you, it does not work that way. So instead of that, you can probably just start reading a book, and you'll feel that you are now a bit better. So the second thing is, which is very important, do not speak or think anything wrong about yourself. Whenever we are in a state of confusion, or whenever we are in a state of fear or something like that, we tend to judge ourselves, the things which we have done, the decisions which we have taken, and all those things. And we tend to feel like, we tend to start having self-deprecating thoughts, like, I'm not good, I'm not these people are so good with better than me, and so on. But the thing is, these types of thoughts do not help. They make the situation worse, and that's completely logical, right? If you are already in problem and then you are doubting yourself on top of it, it's going to make the problems much worse rather than solving them. So be mindful of the thoughts that are crossing your mind, and just whenever any such thought crosses that, oh, I'm not good at this, oh, he is much better than me, oh, I'm not able to do all these things, I am not worth it, or all those things, try to remove your attention from those thoughts into doing something else. Probably I'm going to mention what all things can you do. uh, and one of the very important tip, stop asking yourself what if. So no one knows the future, and we don't know what is going to happen in the next moment, and it's so much uncertain that nobody would have expected that 2020, the year which everyone was expecting to be the best year of their life, went out like this. We never knew, and it's completely uncertain. Future is uncertain, so stop asking yourself what if. I'll tell you one very interesting quote which is really close to my heart. Listen to it carefully, that he who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than necessary. I repeat myself, he who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than necessary. So it's highly essential to stop asking yourself what if. Whenever it happens, it happens. You will have a confidence that you will have enough power in your hands, that whenever something wrong happens, you are going to deal with it. Remember that people might have gone through, there are a lot of people in this world, and people have gone through much worse, and they have come out of it strong. So it might be something little, or it might be something big. Whatever makes you fear, or whatever makes you scared, or whatever makes you uncomfortable, doubtful, uncertain, or confused, in that particular scenario, you should forcefully stop asking yourself that what is going to happen if this happens. So what if is, just remove this question from your mind once and for all, and remember this quote, that he who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than necessary. Cool. And this is one of the best tips, as I was saying, that do not think or speak anything wrong about yourself. How, whenever you get those self-deprecating thoughts, do something else, probably reading a book. And this is one of the best thing that you can do. Work out. Like, whenever you have such kind of thoughts, just do a little bit of workout. I have read somewhere, I'm not sure about this one, but I have read somewhere that 15 minutes of workout, 15 minutes of workout is actually equivalent to an antidepressant tablet. I'm not sure about this one. I'm not sure whether this is a fact or not. I've just read it in a Medium blog. But yes, but those people who actually work out might actually know this thing, that it's actually kind of true. And the next tip is sleep for a couple of hours. Like, if you are really doubtful and having all those things, all those weird thoughts, just sleep. You'll see that in a couple of hours after sleeping, you will feel much better. You might be under a pressure of a deadline, you might be under a pressure of some things like, I have to complete this assignment, I have to complete this project, and so on. But sleeping a couple of hours is not going to do any harm to you. You will be able to do work more efficiently after a couple of hours, if you sleep a bit. Cool. So I just saw Tanuj's question. So Tanuj just asked me that if I didn't ask what if, I won't have a backup plan and feel difficult to come out of the problem. So as far as I am able to understand, Tanuj is basically asking that, what if I don't ask what if this happens, then I won't have a plan B to come out of it. The thing which I am talking about and the thing which you are referring to is kind of different. I am actually talking about the what ifs that constantly horror you, that constantly makes you afraid, uncertain, and doubtful. But the kind of what if you are asking is just a thought. So basically, even the what ifs are of two types. First one is the first thing that you get in mind. So what if, let's say, what if let's say you are putting a lot of uh, money and a lot of let's say time in some business of yours. So what if that does not work out? It's always good to have a plan B. It's always good to have some money in your savings, and if that does not work out, you can probably go into something else. So but that is just a thought, and you can plan accordingly. But if that thought is constantly horroring you, if that thought is constantly making you afraid and all those things, then it's probably better to make it out of your mind. So the first time when that thought comes in, you should probably have an answer to a plan B. Probably something like, what if you are not able to crack a product based company? To do, then you maybe let's have a sort of roadmap or have a sort of plan. Then I am going to let's say get do whatever I get, but side by side I'm going to practice competitive programming and all those things, so that I am able to within 2 or 3 months able to sit in another interview and crack that one. So yes, the first what if maybe can help you to devise a plan B, but then if you're getting it again and again, then you should actually stop asking it. Also, another tip is accept the fact that you are worried. So the thing is that sometimes it also happens that we are worried, we are confused, we are in a state of dilemma, but we don't accept it. Acceptance is the first step towards improvisation. If you don't even accept that this is a problem, you're never going to improve on that problem. So accept the fact, maybe like this used to help me at some point of my life. Like in my college days, I used to write a diary, a daily journal. These days I don't, but yes, in those days I did write a diary, a journal of my daily things. What all did I do, how was my day, and so on. And it helps a lot. So just letting them out in a sort of blog or in a sort of diary can actually help you feel better. Or maybe, as I'm going to tell you in one of the other ways, like I'll tell you later on, but yeah. And one more thing is meditate. I don't know how many of you are into meditation. These days I don't, but yeah, again in college I did a lot of meditation. So if you are actually into it, you will know that how much better can you feel, how much mindful can you feel, how much better can it make you feel. So just to get started, it's not at all difficult. Just go to YouTube right now. Just go to YouTube and just type guided meditation. I'll repeat myself, guided meditation for 5 minutes, and just follow the things which that person is saying. And within 5 minutes, you are going to see the magic. And it's really amazing. Practice gratitude. This is one of the most important steps. So no matter where, how, or in what condition you are in, always remember that you are much better than many people on this earth. So there are people who have gone through worse, and there are people who are going through worse. So for everything that you have, if you have that sort of feeling of gratitude, you are never going to feel things like bad thoughts or anxiety or fear. Whenever these kind of thoughts or emotions come into your mind, just say thanks. This was one exercise which I read in a blog, which I used to follow for some days in my college days, for let's say I think a month or so, which I did, and it helped me a lot. So that blog, basically the author of that blog suggested to its viewers or readers that every morning, as soon as you get up, take a diary and write down 5 things that you are grateful for today. And trust me, it might seem a little bit illogical or a little bit hard work, or like, why should we do that? But trust me, every morning, whenever you do that, you will actually start having positive thoughts in your mind. You will start feeling much better. Your day will be much better. If you just do that, start your day with a simple practice, just 5 simple lines. Take a diary as soon as you get up, take a diary and write down, today I am grateful for, and then write down 5 things that you are grateful for today. And it's really going to help you. Then the next step is stop thinking about the things that you can't change. So we all have to agree that some things are in our control, some things are beyond our control. So if we can't change, then it's not it's then we should probably stop thinking about all these things. So let me tell you a serenity prayer. So this is something which is really, really amazing. which you all should remember. So this is called Serenity Prayer, which you can search on Google. This is not the full prayer. These are just the first three lines. The full prayer is really amazing. So basically, you are asking to God that grant me the serenity to accept the things which I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And this is something self-explanatory. We all need that. And then cleaning up, this is something really amazing. Like this is something that works for me whenever I feel lazy, or whenever I feel a little bit demotivated or something like that. I just take a quick bath and things work out, and I feel much more energized, and I feel much more like active. So this might or might not work for you, but this is something which work like wonder for me. Cool. So again, this is something which I'm really repeating. The first point was the same, similar. This one is again, limit your social media usage. If you are having thoughts like these and still viewing social media, it's not going to help. It might actually get you, like it might actually be the opposite of what you were thinking. And then talk to your close ones. It is the first tip was, let me go back to that. Yeah, the one way was that write down your thoughts in a diary. And if you are like not too much of a writer, or you don't like feel like writing a lot, then you can just call a friend of yours or a close one or anyone whom you know and talk to them. Talking actually helps. Whenever you let out your emotions, trust me, it really helps, and you might have also felt it. Listen to music, have a playlist. So I have a sort of playlist in my phone for the times when I am so feeling sort of these emotions, and these have your own playlist of the songs which really motivate you, which really makes you feel active, which really makes you feel much more like energetic. So for those particular scenarios, have a playlist and listen to the songs. See motivational videos. There are a lot of, I don't generally believe in this thing that we should actually see a lot of motivation videos, but still, if you are actually feeling demotivated, there's nothing wrong with it. And then play online games. The actual the actual, I would say, tip was to play games, to play outdoor games. That helps a lot. Like for me, especially playing football has helped a lot. Playing badminton, I really love playing badminton, but these days, since coronavirus, since the pandemic is spreading, so I would suggest to not go outside. You can probably play online games, but yes, once everything is back to normal, you should definitely play outdoor games. And the last tip is smile. Like practice. This is something similar to practicing gratitude. Keep smiling. Always try to have positive thoughts. I'm letting you know the two books which might seem boring at the first go, but have something really great to offer us. The first one is Think and Grow Rich, and the second one is The Secret. Both of these books actually have something in common to them. That one particular thing is the law of attraction. Basically, the law of attraction, it's not a proven theory, but it says that the thoughts that you take in your mind actually manifest the reality. Your reality is going to be direct, like analogous to the thoughts you have. So keep having positive thoughts, keep seeing, like practice gratitude. Practicing gratitude is actually will actually help you to have positive thoughts. So cool. This is probably it for today. And now let me jump on back to the questions that we have. So I'm here till 7 o'clock. So if you have any questions you want to ask me, you can feel free to do so. Let me see what all questions did I miss. And again, this is the last episode of the Lean Talks. I am really feeling very kind of emotional right now. It's been a long journey, 12 whole episodes of informative content, and every time something new. It basically, another reason why I'm actually stopping this particular initiative for right now is actually it takes a lot of time to make content for one episode of the Lean Talks. For the first episode of the Lean Talks, I remember like it took me weeks, weeks of planning to come up with all those techniques and to find all those stuff for the first three episodes actually. The first one was, I guess, being a super learner, second one was being super productive, and the third one was how to be self motivated and kill procrastination. For these three episodes, it took me weeks and months of efforts to actually find all those kind of techniques, to actually search and study all those techniques which are actually helpful. So yes, it takes a lot of time in preparing the content, and I'm planning some new ideas for my YouTube channel. So do subscribe, do be like remain subscribed to my YouTube channel, and you are definitely going to see a lot of new content, a lot of important and amazing things on my channel this coming year. So yes, and as I said in the beginning as well, I have started this new initiative, Being Better, which can actually help, in which I'm actually trying to give you some actionable tips every weekend, which you can try following from that point itself, which is going to help you a lot. Cool. So where were we? I guess how to get started with CP and what are the best resources to learn DSA with C++. Should I learn C++ as a whole or only to some important concepts and get started with DSA? That's a really interesting question. Let me share with you something. Give me a moment. So this is something. How and where to start learning DSA. You can probably go to my YouTube channel, and this is probably the first thing that you are going to find on my YouTube channel. Just go to it, and in this video I have mentioned more than 20 resources in which you can start it. So my advice to you is pick up any resource that you find, but make sure that it is a good rated. Like I've mentioned a few Udemy courses, I've mentioned a few Coursera courses, but anything which is actually good, high rated, and like a lot of students are actually enrolled in it. I'm sorry. So basically, the thing with all these domains is that we have a lot of tutorials and a lot of videos and a lot of courses and a lot of resources. There was a point of time, I guess 10 or 20 years ago, where there used to be a shortage of resources. But the thing now is that you have excess of resources, and you are actually confused on where to start. So my advice for you would be, Aryan, that just pick up any one of these resources which is high rated and a lot of students are already enrolled in it. Just pick up any one of them and start doing it. But the point with CP and DSA is you are not going to become a master at it unless and until you practice. So for this particular domain, tutorials don't matter a lot. The thing which matters is your own practice. So I would say that just pick up any course, do it, and side by side keep practicing on Spods or on Hacker or on HackerRank or on Lead Code. Lead Code is a good one. Just pick up any questions and start doing, and that is how you will get. And trust me, if you put in 1 hour in every 2 days, 1 hour every alternate day, or if you have more time, 1 hour every day, you can actually become you can actually get at a very good level within 3 to 6 months. And coming to your other question, like, should I learn C++ as a whole or only important concepts and get started with DSA? So if your aim is to get started with DSA, you should actually just learn the basic concepts like iteration, conditionals, basic variables, and STL, standard template library, and all those things. Just the basic concept, and you can get started. Cool. So Barry just asked me, how do you pursue multiple goals when you are constantly feeling overwhelmed? How to stay motivated when you see no significance in result in the short term? So Barry, I have a whole lean talks on this particular I have two lean talks on this particular question of yours. The first one is how goal setting and how can you set goals and how can you be more productive. The second one is how can you be self motivated and kill procrastination. So yes, but in short, giving a summary of them, there are endless techniques. There are many techniques. So for goals, basically, I just plan it out in such a manner that I list down. I have the short term goals and a relatively long term goals for, like, let's say for the next 6 months. I have goals for the next 6 months, goals for this week, and I just list them down either in diary or in Trello, and then I pick up one of them. And if it's taking more than 2 hours, then pause it and jump onto another goal. So that is how I switch between goals, but I don't do multiple things at the same time. I switch between them for after at least giving 1 hour or 2 hour to them, and that too in a chunked manner using Pomodoro technique. I spend 25 minutes of working and then 5 minutes of rest and then 25 of working and then 5. So I divide my goals, I plan my goals for the day in such a manner that no goal will take more than 4 pomodoros. So this might be confusing, but you can see my goal setting video, Lean Talks. So basically, a Pomodoro is nothing but 25 minutes or 30 minutes, or that is up to you, of undistracted work, and then 5 or 7 minutes of break. And then 25 minutes of work, 5 minutes break, 25 minutes work, 5 minutes break, 25 minutes work, and then a long break of, let's say, half hour, half an hour, or 1 hour. So by doing so, while setting my goals, I basically try to do something like a single goal should not take more than one pomodoro, and it should not take less than one pomodoro. So set your goals in this particular manner. And how to stay motivated when you see no significant results in the short time? A simple answer for that is to fall in love with the process. Once you fall in love with the process, you will never ever be attracted towards the result. So statistics and results are variable, they all vary time to time. Some of my LinkedIn posts do great, they even cross uh, 50,000 views. My most viewed LinkedIn post has crossed 100,000 views, and some of the LinkedIn posts don't even cross 5,000 views. So yes, this is something very variable. It matters. It has many sort of variables in it. So just keep that fact in mind and fall in love with the process. If you are loving the process, you will never be actually concerned with you will be concerned with the results, because after all, that is how you are going to grow, but you will never be sort of attracted towards the results the way you are attracted towards the process. And if I didn't ask, what if, okay, that I have already answered. So Akansha just asked me that I usually get stuck in puzzles during the interview. How can I overcome that? By keep telling your thought process to your interviewers. I'm sorry. So basically, the thing with interviews is that your interviewers will help you come up with the answers. The thing that you should be doing is keep communicating with them, keep telling them what you are thinking, come up with a brute force solution. There's nothing wrong with the brute force solution, and they will help you improve. They will give you some small hints. Usually this happens in interview. There might be scenarios when this does not happen, but yes, this will probably be the scenario. Is stuff like introvert extrovert true? If someone has stage phobia or he or she does not like to talk a lot to people, does it mean he is an introvert? No, not at all. Is it? It's just the yes, the stuff of introvert and extrovert are true, but the thing is, uh, just like coding, just like writing, just like any dancing, just like anything else, public speaking is also a skill, and by practicing, you can actually master it. Let me tell you my own example. I have already told that example in one of my previous lean talks, that I was so bad at public speaking. I used to, like, one there was a time when I went up to the stage and said some random gibberish statements, and I didn't even know what the hell was I speaking at that point of time. And people started laughing, and that was really something which made me very low confident. So the thing with that is, just like every other skill, just like coding, just like dancing, just like every other skill there is, public speaking is also a skill which you can master just by practicing. So practice a lot, practice speaking, and that is how you are going to get good at it. Yeah, so an introvert is basically a person who does not want to be in the crowd. And the thing which you were talking about, that if or she does it, like if someone has a stage phobia, having a stage phobia does not mean you are an introvert. It just means that you are not that good at speaking and you can improve at it. Is it is not related to the topic, but what are your tips for beginners who start to contribute to open source in React? A very good question. So for the people who are actually starting to contribute, I would say that go for the issues which are labeled with easy pick, or yeah, I think easy pick, or first, not first time, but yeah, easy pick. So by doing that, you will actually start to you will start to so sorry, by doing that you will get to know what the project is all about. You will keep exploring what all things does that project has to offer, and how does that code base looks like, and all those things. So for any major project, major open source project, there will always be issues which are labeled with this easy pick label, and you can easy pick tag, and you can basically pick that and start contributing. Cool. So it's almost 7 o'clock. Let me take two questions before we leave for today. So Tanuj just asked that I am using lead code. If I am searching arrays, for example, in lead code, question have different types. Every question are having different types. Should I solve every question, or how should I solve for that I, or sh- or how much should I solve for that particular topic? I would say that's a good question. So basically, in short, he's asking me that for any particular topic, let's say data structures, like let's say stacks, let's say queues, or let's say searching, let's say sorting, how much time should you spend with problems? That's a very, very good question. And I believe that you should initially start with basic level questions, basic level problems in that particular concept which you are practicing. And I think 5 to 10 questions of a basic level are good enough, and after that jump on to the medium level, probably do 5 to 10 again, or maybe 20. And it depends on how much confident, at what point do you start getting confidence on that particular topic, and then jump on to the advanced level questions as well. So the whole point is that you should have the confidence that now, no matter what question comes in this particular concept or this particular topic, I am going to do this. So for some people it takes 40 questions, it takes 100 questions. For some people it takes 5 to 10 questions. So you will have to see, so you just keep a track of the patterns. So it's highly probable that maybe in the 5 to 10 beginner level questions that you do, you are going to probably solve that easily. But once you jump from beginner to medium level beginner to medium level questions, probably you are going to face some difficulties in the initial few questions, maybe first two questions, maybe first three questions. So the thing is, even after doing 10 questions, you feel that you have to see the solution or you have to read the solution most of the times. Then it is a let's say pattern which is telling you that you need to do more practice. If you are not, like if you just jumped on from beginner to medium level, and then in just a couple of questions you were able to solve it yourself, then do four or five more. And if you were able to do all of that yourself, then that is a indication that you are now good to go on that topic. So I hope you got that. Okay, so last question for today. Hey man, I've made it to a product based company with a year of preparation. After placement, I haven't quite found the motivation to do CP. Should I go with development or carry on until 2000 on Code Forces? Cool. So this is a really great question, which actually aligns with the first question which someone asked me, that what to do after you have achieved your goal. So always keep in mind that always have one more mountain to climb to. So Vinol, I would like to ask you, like, what what is your goal after this? Do you want to explore some technologies? Do you want to explore some new technologies like React.js, Node.js, Dino, Golang, or so on? Or do you actually love problem solving? If you really love problem solving and competitive programming, then you should not have any problem to keep solving them. So but if you don't, then I think you should actually start exploring the things, like if you have made it to a product based company, then you can actually stay one step ahead by actually knowing all those new things which are going on in the industry. Maybe let's, I don't know what your domain is. Maybe you might be a data scientist, maybe you might be an SDE, maybe you might be a front end developer, maybe you might be an Android developer, you might be a designer, you might be anything. Like it's possible. You, but depending on that, or and depending on what your interest is, I would suggest you, Vinol, that start exploring your interest. Start exploring, like let's say you are actually interested in React.js and all those things, then you should start exploring that. Probably take a Udemy course on React.js and start exploring it. And side by side, just so that you don't lose a touch in competitive programming and problem solving, maybe this is the one tip which I give to everyone in almost all my lean talks, that if you are in this particular sort of dilemma, you should probably fix 1 hour or maybe 2 hours with yourself every week, or maybe every couple of days, or maybe after every 3 days in your calendar. And that 1 or 2 hours should be undistracted, undisturbed, focus time for yourself, where you will be just be doing your all those questions. That way you will be able to manage time between learning new technologies and doing competitive programming questions without getting bored, without even losing a touch on competitive programming. So yes, a simple answer for that is, I would suggest that, let's say, every Wednesday and Saturday, 1.5 hours, just fix 1.5 hours in your calendar, and in that particular 1.5 hour you are going to practice problem solving questions, and rest of the time you can choose to do whatever you want. Cool. So I think that is good for, we have already crossed 7 o'clock. And so Tanuj is asking that, would it be a good idea to learn by myself, or would it be good to pay for a DSA course? So let me tell you, the difference between learning by yourself and to paying for a course is, the only two differences here is that courses probably offer you a structured content. Courses basically offer you a good and structured indexed content which you should be learning. And the second thing is that once you pay for something, you actually feel motivated that I have paid for this thing, I should definitely do that. So just ask yourself these two things: can you find the structured content for free online? Yes, you definitely can. The one very simple way would be, just go to any course, see their syllabus, and try to find those concepts on Medium, on Google, on YouTube, and all those things. You will be easily able to find it. And now you will have to make a playlist or a sort of roadmap for yourself if you are not paying for the course. And secondly, ask yourself, are you going to stay motivated if you are not going to pay for course? If yes, if you are like me, like you love to learn, then of course you will love to stay more motivated even without paying. So that is where that is where your decision comes in. If you know that without paying you might take it lightly, or you might not feel like you are, there's something to lose, then it is a good idea to pay. And secondly, if you are able to manage your own resources, if you are able to make a playlist or a roadmap for yourself, where you will be creating, let's say a video, you will be creating a playlist on a video on stacks and queues by this particular content creator on YouTube, trees by this particular creator, data structures and algorithms by this thing, and all those things. If you have enough motivation to do that, then you can find everything that you can find in a paid course for free on internet. But if you are not willing to do that, then you can maybe pay for, there are many cheap courses also available on Geeks for Geeks, on Udemy, on Coursera. Then you can go with that one. So yes. And the last one for today is Amana asking, by the end of this year, can we end this year by listening to your journey in Microsoft? I can probably plan one, not as a lean talks, because lean talks is ending today. But yeah, probably I can make a video. Let me see if I can find time. I'm not promising, but if I find time, I can make one. So yes, that is all for today. Bye bye, guys, and thank you everyone who has stayed with me throughout this journey of the lean talks. And I'm really really grateful to every one of you, every single one of you. And I really hope that you don't forget about this initiative. You keep spreading a word about the lean talks, and you keep looking forward to my videos on YouTube and so on. And again, you can just go to madhavbahel.tech/suggest, to madhavbahel.tech. I'll just post it on the chat section keep suggesting more topics. So for that, if you just put in your views on this thing, madhavbahel.tech/suggest, I will keep viewing for it. So that will be in that way, I will be able to segregate the content. I'll be able to see like what all things can be done with a single video, 10 to 20 minutes video, and what all things require a big video. And I can plan my next lean talks, next season on lean talks accordingly, and I can probably get back to you and your doubts on these topics through my YouTube videos. So yes, it's a simple Google form, the lean talks, and what do you want to learn in this particular thing, anything else you want to suggest. And Bahiriti, thanks a lot. This is the greatest compliment that I can ever get. So thank you so much. Cool. So let's end this season of the Lean Talks. Keep smiling, stay motivated, keep smiling, and do subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. And keep working hard. Bye bye. See you next year, and see you constantly through my YouTube channel, YouTube videos. Bye bye.